Hey guys, welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. This is Living in Colorado Springs and I am Alicia Armendariz. Today I want to go over with you guys what I really want you to know about homes here in Colorado Springs. This is a little bit more for my out-of-state buyers. I really wasn't aware of this stuff. It kind of came second nature to me, but after dealing with so many out-of-staters, even out-of-towners, I just feel like you guys should really understand your home search and what to expect out of homes here in Colorado Springs. So if you guys have any questions over anything that I mentioned today, please feel free to reach out to me. I am a licensed broker here in the state of Colorado, and I would love to help you with your real estate needs. Feel free to reach out to that phone number, email, leave something in the comments, and I promise to get back to you. And then if you could also hit that subscribe button and bell to get notified when I make new videos each week on everything that is living in Colorado Springs. So there are at least 3 things that I think you guys should know when looking at homes here in Colorado Springs, or at least just be aware of, because you're going to start to notice it pretty quickly if you're not familiar with Colorado homes and kind of what they look like. And that is that they're a little outdated. Not all of them, but definitely a lot of the west side neighborhoods that have just been around and established a lot longer are definitely going to be a little bit more outdated on average. Colorado Springs has kind of been being founded and growing since the early 1900s. But it definitely had a large boom kind of between 1992 and then the early 2000s. So yes, some of the western neighborhoods are the older neighborhoods that have been established for a while, and people have moved in, updated here and there. But I would say overall, a lot of the homes kind of still reflect that early 1990s to late 90s look. Like, it's not old enough to where they would totally need to remodel the home. It's not something from the 50s, 60s, and 70s, but it's not modern. It doesn't have modern paint trends and cabinets and flooring, and it's just kind of a weird just couple of years where it's not new, but it's also not super old. So just know that a lot of the homes here are going to still have a lot of just the trends that you saw in the early 90s. It's going to kind of have more so just the cabinets, and the kitchens are going to kind of have those typical countertops. They're not going to be marble, they're not going to be quartz. They're just going to be kind of slabs and those brown cabinets. I know you guys know what I'm talking about. They're just going to have a lot of that. Obviously, as you go east, you can still find some homes that are built around, 50s, 60s, 70s, and obviously early 90s and such. But I'm just going to say overall, some of the homes that are a little bit even higher in price point, they're going to be on the west side. The west side is just very desirable because it sits in some good school districts. It's right up against the mountain, or it has mountain views. There's a lot of trails that are very easy to access on the west side. So overall, on the west side, your homes are going to be a little outdated in trends, colors, cabinets, things of that sort. They're also going to be outdated in just layout and floor plan. You're not really going to find a lot of open concepts like you can now, unless someone's gone in and knocked down a couple of walls. You're going to find that a lot of those homes from the 50s and 60s, or more so even early 90s, had a lot of designated rooms. There's a designated dining room, there's a designated living room, designated kitchen. So there's just a lot of designated rooms and not very many open floor plans. You can find a few in the really, really older, just large ranch style homes. You can kind of find those all up and down the Broadmoor, Cheyenne Mountain, Rock Rimmon, some of those other western neighborhoods. But for the most part, that just kind of new open floor plan that everybody kind of wants and is going after, you're not really going to find that in a lot of homes, especially on the west side. So you might be thinking, because these homes are a little outdated and because these homes don't have kind of the modern layouts and features, they're probably going to be a little bit cheaper, huh, Alicia? No. Again, the west side is just very desirable here. Because the neighborhoods are established, the landscaping, the trees are established, you have great views of the mountains, Pike Peak, Garden of the Gods, Cheyenne Mountain. You're either on the mountain, so you have just a lot of beautiful terrain around you. You have 360 views of the city. The west side overall is just very, very desirable, and pretty much what you're paying for when you're seeing those price points are location. It's just location. You're going to be close to the interstate. They sit a little bit closer, those neighborhoods, to I-25 than some of our east side neighborhoods, since we just have more space to grow and expand east. Obviously, our neighborhoods and our communities are developing that way, but we're getting pretty far out there. Colorado Springs is really growing pretty far east, and the time that it takes you to get from those eastern neighborhoods to I-25 is a little bit longer, and even sometimes a lot longer than the very edge of the western neighborhoods to I-25. So you're paying for location to be close to the interstate. You're paying to be close to the mountains. You're paying to be close to Highway 24. And will take you actually into the mountains. It's a back road that a lot of people take to get to Breckenridge and things of that sort. You're close to Highway 115, which can take you south into southern Colorado, other small towns, other small skiing resorts. So just overall, the west side is very desirable. The price points kind of sit a little bit higher, but you're also paying a little bit higher for outdated homes. The next thing that I think you guys should know when looking at homes here in Colorado Springs, especially if you are on a home search, I definitely know if I set you up on a home search, I'm going to explain this to you, but when you're looking at square footage of a home here, you're going to see where it says finished square feet, unfinished square feet, and then total square feet. And, you know, if somebody has a 4,000 square foot home that they're selling and just the main level is finished, let's say it's 2,000 square feet, the basement is unfinished, that's 2,000 square feet, it's still going to be priced of what the total square footage of. That's just how Colorado does it. When you see a price tag and you see the square footage, it doesn't matter if it's unfinished or finished. That price is reflecting the entire structure of that home. And I've had a lot of out-of-staters kind of question that and be like, why would I be paying so much, or just X amount of dollars when half of it's unfinished, or X amount of feet is unfinished. And I don't want to say that you're paying for potential, but it kind of flows back into, you know, a lot of these outdated homes that I just mentioned. You don't have to update your kitchen. You don't have to update the bathroom. It's still functioning. You're kind of paying for potential though. And I don't think really anybody here phrases it that way. It's just kind of how I'm phrasing it that way. And that's just how, as long as I've known, like the pricing has worked here in Colorado in general. But when you are looking that you need to be in a certain price point in your home search and you need X amount of, you know, square footage for your family, your friends, your in-laws, whatever, who stays with you, you're paying for the entire structure, whether it's finished or not. Sometimes this can be a pro or a con. A lot of basements here are not finished. A lot of Colorado homes have basements. A ton of them have basements, walkout basements, regular just in-ground basements, but a lot of them are not finished. A lot of people here actually like that. A lot of locals like the idea that they can go in and if they want to finish it, they can finish it themselves in the way that they want it. Doesn't seem to be that way for out-of-staters. A lot of out-of-staters expect that basement to be finished, but I will say on average here, we have a lot of general contractors that specialize in finishing basements, and depending on the square footage, you can usually find someone to do it between $25,000 up to $80,000. It really just depends on the square footage and what you want included down there. If you just want to throw up some framing and some drywall and, you know, get 2 bedrooms and a bathroom out of it, that's easy. I mean, I've done that myself with my mom. But if you want to add some fireplace, some surround sound systems, just some other things, then yeah, it can definitely get up there. And if it's a large area, it can definitely get into the 70, 80,000s, maybe even more. But I just want you guys to understand that when you are looking at that list price, make sure you're paying attention to just the square footage in general. You're paying for the entire structure. And so you're kind of paying for potential for the unfinished portion also. And then the third thing that I would like you guys to know is kind of just what to expect during the home buying process. And I'm not actually going to go into my buyer presentation here in this video. That is lengthy and it varies from person to person and their situation and their finances. But I will say overall, I have learned that the way real estate works in other states is not how Colorado does it, just the process itself. Here, it is more of a, you find a home you like, we go visit it. Pretty much your whole job just during that tour is to just look around and see if you can even just see yourself living in that home day in, day out. What does your daily routine look like? How do you get up, get coffee, let the dogs out, wake up the kids, whatever. We're pretty much just looking at the home to see if you like it, and then we submit an offer, and then we go under contract, And then we have about 28 to 45 days to do all our due diligence. I found a lot of out-of-staters of mine, they want to know all this information up front before submitting an offer. They've literally told me, well, we're not going to submit an offer unless we really, really want to move forward with this property, but we need to know A, B, C, and D, things about the home. And that's just not how we do it here. For one, that listing agent's not going to put in the time to find out every possible information about the home that may or may not be important to a certain buyer. That's just infinite possible answers. They're going to do what they can. They're going to pull permits if there's permits. They're going to, get kind of the necessary upfront things listed in the MLS, but they're not really going to try and find out every little thing about the home for every potential question that a buyer might have. I know that freaks out kind of a lot of my out-of-state buyers. They want to know so much about it before even submitting an offer. But that's why here in Colorado, we have 4 stages while under contract that you as a buyer can terminate and get your earnest money back. That's why we have 28 to 45 days to do all that due diligence to find out if you really want to move forward with purchasing this home. So I like to kind of tell my clients, it's just dating. We're not marrying the home yet. We're just dating. We're kind of figuring out, do I still like you? Do I still like you at the next stage? Do I like you at the next stage? Do I actually want to then marry you? So some of those real quick, just to give you an example, is the inspection stage, the appraisal stage, the kind of HOA docs or due diligence docs stage, and then also the loan estimate stage. Those are 4 stages of the process where we go through, we do our due diligence, and if everything looks okay, we move over to the next stage. Again, we do our due diligence, we find out what we need to, lender finds out what they need to, if everything's good, we move forward, and so on. There are 4 stages, and Colorado's just really buyer friendly. It's really hard for a seller to actually get their earnest money back. They can if a buyer breaches contract, but for the most part, as a seller here in Colorado, once you put your home up for sale, you're kind of selling it. But because Colorado is so buyer friendly, that's why we do all our due diligence during that time being under contract. We don't pull everything beforehand. So that's just something that you guys should note. I definitely go into that more one-on-one with you guys if you reach out, or we do a buyer presentation and I explain each of those stages. But just wanted to give you guys a heads up when you are looking at homes. When we go view them and tour them, that's because you just kind of like what you've seen from the pictures in the MLS and you like the description of the home and you think it might fit you. And so we're going to go tour it. We're going to go see how it actually looks in person. Then if you want to move forward, we'll submit an offer and then we'll find out everything about the home. So just wanted to let you guys know, those are 3 things that I have found are just kind of surprising to my out-of-state buyers. Like I said, I didn't even think of it or notice it because I'm a native and that's just how the real estate market has always been. But those are a couple of things that I always hear that my out-of-state buyers are always just surprised to notice and surprised how we do things. So if you guys have any questions over anything that I mentioned today, definitely feel free to reach out, call me, email me, leave something in the comments. Like I said, promise I'll get back to you. And also I am a licensed broker in the state of Colorado and I would love to help you guys with your buying and selling needs. So if you could hit the subscribe button and I will talk to you guys next time.